Hello and welcome to Faith Dummies, everyone. Hi, Rob, and hello to our special guest, Micah. How are you guys?
Hello, everyone. Hi, Micah. Hi, Izzie. I'm good, thanks. How are you, Micah?
I'm doing all right. How are you, Rob?
Yeah, good. And what about you, Izzie?
I'm all right, thanks. I'm enjoying the sunshine. It's a good week.
We're all right, aren't we?
Yeah. We're always all right. We're never bad on this podcast. Right.
Although if I was bad, I'm not sure I'd say, I'm really grumpy today.
To be fair, I'm often grumpy, so I could often say that too.
Maybe next season we should be a bit more honest then and say, I'm really grumpy.
Great. Anyway, so we have an extra person in the studio with us today. We have Micah, who is one of the young people in our youth group, my youth group, but he also goes to the camps that me and Rob met on as well. And he won our recent competition to come and speak on the podcast. So we're going to chat to him today about what it's like being a Christian in school and lots of things associated with that. So why don't we just start? We'll do a dummy moment in a second. But Micah, why don't you just tell us who you are, how old you are, that kind of thing.
Hi, I'm Micah. I'm 15 years old. I've been Christian for about 5-ish years, nearly 5 years.
Nice.
Yeah, that's really all there is to it, honestly. I'm just a guy.
Great. And Micah, who's your favourite youth worker?
Mark, I believe, right?
Yeah, I'm going to say Mark just to avoid any... Because Mark was my dorm leader on camp.
No. Mark's great. Mark's my favourite youth leader too.
Does Mark listen to this?
Yeah.
Mark. Hi, Mark. My son misses you.
Oh, yeah. Rob's son loves Mark.
He does. Anyway, that was a good answer, except for the fact that you've slightly upset Izzie, but I'm sure she'll get over it. Yeah, I believe, Micah, you have a dummy moment for us. So why don't you take us there?
Yeah, so before I joined the church that me and Izzie go to, so this is on a day of baptism, and we used to meet in a school. And so they had a tennis court, and we were all just, me, my brother, and some other people were just sat there. And I was sat on this tennis net, and I went to put my leg over to turn around, and I leant back, tilted back, and smacked my head on the concrete.
Oh no!
So I was bleeding for a good 20 minutes.
Oh wow!
Maybe. They had to call an ambulance. It was really bad because this is on the day that 2 people were getting baptized as well. So my brother always says to me that
you wanted the attention, didn't you?
I got inspired and I just wanted to baptize myself.
Oh, Micah, that's bad.
Yeah.
Nice dummy moment. Rob, have you got any this week?
Oh, you know what? Probably, but I just can't think of any off the top of my head. What about you, Izzie?
Yeah, I've got one. It's not as exciting as Micah's. That's like a top tier dummy moment. Mine, right, we're clearing out the cupboards at church this week. I start getting everything out of the cupboard. It's like this mammoth task that's going to take us 3 days. So I get the first box of stuff out and I find a bag of sequins. You can probably see where this is going to go.
I can,
And the bag is sealed, so I throw it across the room to put it in a pile of the other crafting materials. And the sequins go all over the floor, like a full trail of sequins from one side of the room to the other. So I spend a good 10 minutes clearing them. It's not hard to clear up sequins on a carpet because they ping everywhere. So I cleared it all up. The next day, I'm moving the crafts again. I pick up the bag of sequins. I go to put it in a box. And what happens?
You drop the sequins.
I drop the sequins all over the floor again. So I spend another 10 minutes picking them up. So me and those sequins are not friends.
Did you not just hoover them up and chuck them?
That's what Helen said at the end. My colleague was like, you should just have hoovered those up and put them in the bin because I think they're your enemy at this point.
I mean, if you'd done that the first time, you would have avoided it the second time, wouldn't you?
Exactly. I did text her and say, I think I'm being trolled by these sequins.
That is funny. That's funny.
Great.
Well, thank you for your dummy moment, Micah. You clearly wanted the attention all on you. Did you get to see the baptisms or was it beforehand?
So once the baptism had done, after the service, we all went out, and we were just there, and then it happened.
Yeah, fine. And thank you, Izzie, for sharing your dummy moment. That is funny as well. Right, so shall we get on to some questions? And thank you, Micah, for coming and agreeing to being on here. And congratulations, by the way, for winning It was a tough competition. And we really enjoyed your entry. So first question is, can you tell us some of your favorite things about school, maybe your favorite subjects, and we'll go from there.
I think my favorite part about school is just being with friends, because over the holidays they'll like be doing something. We'll like meet up once, but I like being with friends. My favorite subject is probably like music, because that's what I want my career to be. So that's really helpful. And computer science as well.
That's cool. That's really cool.
Very different things.
Yeah, and I like how your favorite thing about school is friends outside of school.
Yeah.
It's got nothing to do with it. It's good. Good answer. Honest.
Yeah, nice. Remind us what year you're in, Micah?
I'm in year 10.
Yeah, so you're like start of your GCSEs, all those kind of stuff, which is lots of fun.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised your favourite part of school is friends.
Yeah, my favourite part of school was home time.
Nice. Mine was lunchtime.
Nice, yeah.
So you mentioned kind of earlier, but how long have you been a Christian? And in like a really brief nutshell, like how did you get to that point? Was it through church? Was it through someone else? Was it through camps?
Well, my parents weren't originally Christian. They were both Hindus, and they both found their way to God through different ways. So they raised me and my brother up as Christians. And in 2021, I decided to make that step. And it has been the best decision in my life. Like if I didn't do it then, I don't know if I actually would have done it now, because I probably would have formed way more doubts in my life than if I'd done it, if I hadn't done it.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, great. Maybe we should get your parents on the podcast to talk about their testimony. Yeah. Converting from Hinduism, that sounds cool.
Yeah.
We've already had your brother on this podcast, so we can just have the whole family.
Yeah, that's true.
Sounds like a plan, doesn't it? What's your favourite thing about church, Micah?
Kind of similar to school. I really like being with the youth, because in our church, all the youth sit at the back. We're all there, and then every other Sunday we'll go out and learn. I think it's just really nice to have Christian friends that you could talk to, that kind of, they're all like-minded. They all have the same ideas, which is kind of like the same at camp, which I really enjoy. Yeah,
that's good. And you've got good youth leaders in Mark and Izzie and Adam and other people as well that I'm sure I've not met yet. So that's really cool.
Okay, so Micah, the main reason that we wanted to get you on this podcast, and in your competition entry, the thing that you wanted to talk about was what it's like living out a Christian faith in school, basically. And there's lots of different elements to that. But could you kind of start telling us, what is it like being a Christian in your school? Are you one of a few? Are there lots of you? What's it like in your school?
So my school, it's mainly non-Christians, but there are a few Christians. So it's probably about 15 in my year, maybe, like around that. Much, maybe even less, and there's about 180 in a year. So it's mainly just, there's a few people and you try and find them, kind of. But we do have a Christian union.
So there's not that many of you in the school, and there's no one from your church in your school?
No.
Is there? So how do you meet other Christians at school? How do you figure out if someone's a Christian?
So my parents, there was a couple in my old church who their nephew was also going to the school, so I met up with him before school started, and so we became friends. He's a Christian, and we're both fairly vocal about our faith. And in my classes, I just kind of met people who, like, I would see them wearing something Christian, so I'd be like, "Oh, you're a Christian," and then that's how I kind of found them.
That's a great idea, actually. Like wearing something or having something on your phone screen, or like something that is just like a subtle hint, can really help people to know if you're a Christian. Yeah,
because I used to be very, a lot of people didn't really like me in the first 2 years, because I was really vocal, and I was like, it wasn't like vocal in a good way where it's like, oh yeah, I'm Christian, like I love it. Like it was more like, oh, you shouldn't be doing that, the Bible says not to. A lot of the time it can just come off as really preachy, which I just learned to tell people when they're doing something that is genuinely like offensive or something like that. But if they're doing something wrong, I will pick them up on it, but I won't say, oh yeah, the Bible says not to do that, because they're just going to ignore it and hate me more. And that drives people away a lot.
Yeah, it's really interesting, isn't it? Finding the balance between trying to correct those people and challenge them around you, but also not trying to put them off the gospel and think they don't have the same values and morals perhaps as we do from reading the Bible and learning about Jesus. But equally, if we don't tell them, how will they ever know? So it's an interesting point. What encouragements have you had from sharing your faith, Micah?
So one of my friends, he's like my best friend. He is almost like a brother to me. And I was talking to him, and he's slowly been coming more to Christ. Like he's a Christian. He hasn't been baptized yet, but he would tell me some of his theology, like, oh, if you're like, I don't believe that only Christians go to heaven. Like, oh yeah, it's just good people and bad people. And then one time when we met up, I was like explaining to him, and I was thinking about this, and he's slowly actually kind of improved. Like he's been way more attentive and accepting of like proper theology rather than just like the worldly theology. And he's even put that into his relationships. Like he's now trying to get his girlfriend to come to church with him, which I'm really proud of. And that's one of the biggest things for me.
That's really cool. Does he go to your church?
No, he goes to a different one.
Okay.
And I've also, one of my other friends who was going through something at a point in his life, I talked to him, and now he's thinking of coming to church with me, which is it's a blessing to hear that, like when you hear someone going through something and they're like, I really want to come to Christ.
That's really cool. When you share your faith at school, like in the encouragement stories that you have, how do you generally go about it? Do you wait until someone says, oh, Micah, you're a Christian, what does it mean to this? Or does someone do something you go, well, actually, and then you bring it up? How do you go about that?
It's kind of a bit of both. So someone said, oh, like, you're a Christian, I didn't know that, and then ask me a question. Or it might be like, we might have like some political conversation or something like that. And I'll say like, well, my belief stems from my faith, but it's also like justifiable by other things. But I always try and bring faith back into the conversation if it's relevant.
That's cool. Do you find that your friends are judgmental in a negative way?
Some of them are. My close friends are mostly Christian, but the ones that I talk to like regularly but I'm not too close with are sometimes quite down speaking. Like they'll say, well, I'm not Christian, so I don't care, or your religion is just fake, and then like provide no evidence.
But yeah, do you find that hard?
I find it very hard because I just get quite annoyed because like you're putting because my parents always taught me to think critically, and so for my mind it's really frustrating when someone just says something and then just provides no further evidence, which is really frustrating because it's so annoying to just debate someone who doesn't want to listen, and it happens so much at a non-Christian school.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Thank you for your honesty. I think it can be so hard, can't it? And I'm glad that you said that it was hard and you said the truth, because hopefully that will encourage our listeners who perhaps feel similar, but just be encouraged, keep going. And some people, this is what I tell young people who I talked about it, don't want to know. They just want to fight. I found that. And adults too. Some adults don't want to know, but just want to try and insult you and your religion and say why they think it's false. And for those people, for those occasions, as much as possible, I say try and just let it be water off a duck's back. Try and just not let it faze you, not really get engaged, because they're not looking for anything necessarily good to come out of it.
Yeah. On top of that, have you had any particular challenges with sharing your faith at school? So it might not even get to the point of sharing it, but what are the challenges being a teenager at school, sharing faith?
Well, so I used to go to the debating club. Because I go to an all-boys school, the debating club is also shared with the girls' school. And I debated one time. It was it didn't really have anything to do with faith, but it was stemming from my beliefs. And because of that, all the girls at that school essentially just hate me.
No.
It's not really that deep. And in my debate, I said, well, if you got a problem with it, just come up to me and talk to me, I'm more than happy to talk about it. But I think the key is just always talk lovingly to people rather than just forcing it. And yeah, that kind of thing.
Is it really challenging in situations like that to not just want to fight back and like call them names or like bring them down as well? Because I think I would find that really challenging, and I'm not a teenage boy. So I can imagine that's even more like there is something in teenage boys that kind of just wants to fight sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, it's also because it's an all boys school, so it's just like there's more competition, and I have gotten into fights about my faith, which I'm not proud of, but it's really annoying because like you really want to just punch someone in the face, like just like be quiet. Like you really want to just do a full crusade and just absolutely just destroy this person, but you just like if I'm doing that, am I actually glorifying God in that?
Just to confirm, you don't go around punching them in the face.
No, I've learned my lessons. I just always think, if I punch this person in the face right after talking about how God is, am I actually glorifying God? Like, I'm just doing the opposite of what I'm saying.
Yeah. I heard something really interesting on a podcast the other day about evangelism and sharing your faith. And it is along the lines of when you share your faith, or you give an argument, perhaps, very, very rarely does someone change their mind instantly like that. It's a lot more of they're lying in bed one night, they're thinking about something, and then what you said pops in their head and it makes them wonder, oh, could that be true? And I think I only heard it like yesterday or the day before, but it's changed my perspective, I think, about what you say, how you say, and how people respond to that. Very interesting.
Yeah, and it's a real wrestle, isn't it, between truth and grace, and wanting to be gracious and kind to people and love them the way that Jesus would love them, but also wanting to be able to say the truth that you feel and not have to be, if somebody asks your opinion, you don't want to have to lie about what you think about things. And that is really hard because often as Christians as well, people like to kind of goad you. And like, I remember in like RE lessons, people like, even my teachers would do it. They'd be like, Izzie, what do you think about this issue? And we'd be talking about something massive. And I'd be like, I don't really know. Like, I might have formed thoughts on this, and I know the Bible has thoughts on this, but I don't know if I want to share either of those things, because then I'm going to be told off for it or, hated for it. And that's really hard. So yeah, I think it's tricky to balance, and it's really tricky to not just fight back and be like really quippy and like, bring people's personalities into it or something like that. So yeah. That's a huge challenge.
Yeah, it's also, like you said, with Ari, like a lot of the teachers will just preach like absolute heresy. Like it's just not, like they'll say something absolutely stupid, and it's just like, I really want to tell the teacher this is just not true, but then they're going to say, oh, like you think you're better than me? I've got like 3 degrees, and you're just some kids. So it is quite a challenge, because if you try and fight a teacher, then like you're just going to get shut down immediately, because they got more power than you, and they're going to use their education as a tool.
Yeah.
So with all of those things, all of those encouragements and those challenges, what do you think what could someone do if they're struggling to live as a Christian within the culture of their school?
I think it's really important to find Christian friends who share the same beliefs. And it doesn't even, because a lot of the problems that you'll have in school might not even be religious beliefs. It might be political beliefs but your belief stems from your faith. So it might even be helpful just to find people who are just like-minded. They don't even have to be Christian. Obviously, it's better if they're Christian, but it's always important to have Christian friends who will back you up on everything, but also correct you if you're wrong. And also, like, don't try and fight everything. Like, you have to pick your battles wisely, because there are things that they're not worth fighting about. And especially, like, I think the Bible says, don't throw pearls before swine. So there's so many people who will just argue and not take anything you're saying. So you just got to be like, if someone tries to debate you, if there's someone who's not going to take it in, a lot of the time you just kind of have to just be like, I've said my beliefs, I'm not going to say anything more. That's the end of it.
Yeah. It's good. Is there anything else, Micah, that you want to say to our listeners?
I think the main thing is just trust God through everything. There's nowhere else that's going to keep you as safe as God will. And you might feel alone a lot of the time, because I did a lot, but you just always have to remember that God is on your side, and that no one will be able to harm you if God is on your side, because even if you get expelled from your school or something crazy, you know that God's got a plan for you, and God will shape you through your experience. He'll take that and mold you and help you to become a better person. And that's one of the real encouragements that I have.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
Yeah, that's what you'll share with your schoolmates, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you're listening from Micah's school, we've got good news, and that's what we want to share. That's what Micah wants to share. That's what we want to share to other people. Nothing about it is bad. That's great. It's really cool.
Great. Thank you so much for joining us, Micah.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks, Micah. It's been a blast. So, Izzie, I believe this is the end of season 4 now, isn't it?
This is the end of season 4. Well done, Micah. You were the end of a great season.
Yeah.
Yeah, so actually we've got a teaser coming out at the end of April, 28th of April. I'm just checking. I'm getting nods, so that's good.
And season 5 will be back.
It will. Just early mid-May, 12th of May, we are lining up interviews and testimonies, and I've had people saying yes to me to being interviewed, so that is good already. And we have a little special event happening during season 5, don't we, Izzie? Which will be good fun for everyone.
Yep, I'm getting married. Woo! But don't worry, the podcast will continue.
Yeah, so I'm sure we'll keep you posted, and I'm sure Izzie will do a dummy moment on her actual wedding day, which will be fun.
Yeah, it'll happen. It'll happen. Great.
Well, it's been a good season. Thanks again, Micah. Thanks again, everybody else who has been interviewed. Take care, everyone, and we will see you soon.
See you soon. Bye.
Bye.